Why do they need the decommissioned host, Dolores' father, Peter Abernathy? How is everyone going? How could you not be fantastic with this release? I'm Neb Neslo, and I am super excited to be talking to you guys about the new season of Westworld, HBO's Westworld. This episode is a summary about all the major events I remembered from watching the first episode of season 2. Please comment down below anything I missed or anything you want to start a discussion about. Obviously, this video will contain spoilers. If you're thinking of getting into this show, I highly recommend you binge the first season of Westworld. The first season of Westworld is kind of important to the storyline. In the opening first scene, we see the character who is supposedly Bernard having one of his classic deep discussions with Dolores. This time it's clear she's evolved so much from being able to only use her programming to now having her own insight and opinions on aspects of the discussion. We saw a bit of her being like this at the end of season 1. Although this is true, we also find her reverting back to her old code when she says, "Why are you frightened of me?"
Why on earth would you ever be frightened of me? These violent delights have violent ends.
Which is a question she asks, I believe, on more than one occasion in the first season. The episode picks up basically right after the finale of season 1. Bernard wakes up on a beach. Soldiers are trying to sort out the carnage. I'm quite sure it was mentioned that it had been about a week before the soldiers turned up, but like some of the events happened before, like there's flashbacks to before the soldiers turned up and stuff like that. Now, this is a major spoiler alert, and it's one of the biggest confusions of this season. Why I said I'm not sure if Bernard is talking to Dolores, and why I said Bernard wakes up on the beach is because the show makes you believe that in this first episode for almost the entire time. It turns out that the other man who looks like Bernard is most likely actually Bernard too. Is Bernard, because they look exactly the same. They also all still think that Bernard is human. And which is probably a good part of the show. It's kind of critical. Dolores is caught on the built-in video cameras, which are, I suppose, in the host's eyes. So when they like cut the scalp open of one of the hosts, and it hasn't corrupted the file, they can see that Dolores has been the one who's killed him.
I told you, friend. Not all of us deserve to make it to the valley beyond.
The video shows Dolores to be acting violent towards other hosts. Bernard is seen throughout the episode to be shaking. I assume we'll discover why, but it seems that he is performing a human-like trait which may not have been programmed into him. This is also confusing as Bernard seems to be having a lot of his own problems, like a lot of meltdowns, blacking out even, like fainting, just blurred vision, stuff like that. So some of the hosts in like about the middle of the show are seen to be killing off humans. Dolores is specifically one of the main people killing off the humans. This show is insanely visually stunning, and I kind of felt that through a lot of the middle especially, but I mean the whole thing was just really amazing. Teddy is with Dolores, which is probably to be expected. But basically, as the show progresses, he seems to be less and less comfortable with all the hangings and shootings that Dolores has been doing.
Under all these lives I've lived, something else has been growing.
Now we get to William, the man in black, aka Gunslinger. So William he's back into fighting the host. Basically, he pretty much wakes up and he's in the middle of like a shootout between two hosts that are shooting at him. But now the only difference is that bullets can actually harm and kill humans. So basically, one of the hosts that had a minor role, Angela, who welcomed in the guest at Westworld in the very first season, she's now a killer, as we can see in this season.
Please, let me go too.
We see Maeve looking for her daughter, which is one of the main things that she did in season 1. But by the end of the episode, I was left wondering, with all the malfunctions throughout the parks with Maeve's daughter, is Maeve's daughter even alive? And if she is, will she even remember Maeve? That was like some of the thoughts that came up during watching the show. Because Maeve is just so set on finding the daughter from another storyline that she remembers. And like, I assume that she probably will remember Maeve, but like, there's no guarantee. And then, as we'll find out later, there's a lot of damage to the park. So a lot of people have died. There's a lot of destruction. So there is a potential that Maeve's daughter isn't even alive still. Charlotte Hale seems to have been working on some unauthorized hosts and material in a secret underground section of the park. Her and Bernard go there to escape the insanity. It seems that Ford is still alive, but how long for, I don't know. Ford was killed at the end of season 1, as you guys would know if you've seen season 1. But he's seemed to have managed to put his consciousness into the boy from season 1. I guess the boy from season 1, who was like one of Ford's creations, seemed to be a little bit pointless maybe. Like, he carried some of the story but not very much. So I guess it made sense that he'd be used for something important later on. In typical Westworld fashion, they have done something that many theorized about, including myself, which was the return of Ford.
Congratulations, William.
This game is meant for you.
But they've done it in a very unexpected way. Why I said I don't know for how long he will still be alive is because Will shoots the boy. Who is confirmed to be Robert Ford's consciousness coded in by something that Will says.
Well then, guess I don't need you anymore, Robert.
So then we flash back to Bernard. There's lots of flashbacks between the show, but we flash back to Bernard at around this point, and he's having meltdowns. This is where we find out they are looking for the decommissioned host, Peter Abernathy. The soldiers,
Bernard 2,
and a few of the others from the park go to an ocean. All the hosts are dead in the ocean. That was not supposed to be in the park, so there's just like a massive ocean that nobody put there. They're assuming that Ford must have done it before his death, obviously, but
Bernard 2,
it says he killed them. So there's like dozens of hosts. This is what alerts them. The systems come back online and they just see all these hosts in this one location.
all the hosts are clustered together.
So they all get in their like car things and they drive to this ocean. And like, I was expecting like Dolores to have like a whole tribe of people ready to start a fight or something, and they just leave. But it wasn't. It was just an ocean and just heaps and heaps of like dead hosts in the ocean.
Bernard 2.
He says he killed them. I mean, it could be Bernard saying it,
I killed them.
but it doesn't seem to fit. The whole
Bernard 2.
thing is very confusing. So obviously the guy who wakes up on the beach is supposedly
Bernard 2.
and Bernard is supposedly the guy who it flashes back to in the barn who escapes with Charlotte Hale. But I mean, literally anything could happen. It's Westworld. Like, it could turn out that, well, this is a crazy theory that is most likely wrong, but it could turn out that
Bernard
he's
2.
actually human. That just throwing that one out there, only because I thought of this theory because of the fact that it's a crazy twist that Westworld loves their crazy twists. But I mean, like, there's two of the same person. It seems pretty basic for them just to be like a clone of each other type thing.
Bernard 2.
Saying that he killed all the hosts has been considered to be the biggest confusing twist in this episode by quite a lot of people. Why did he admit to killing all the hosts? I guess that's probably most likely what we're going to find out in the next episode, but who knows? I guess he may be playing the game by saying that he's the one who killed all of the hosts. It's therefore causing people to believe that he is human, because a lot of people still think he's human. I'm pretty sure almost everyone thinks he's human. I guess to break it down, I think there's probably three possibilities. Number one, I guess there could potentially be two Bernards, which is pretty much a lot about what I've talked about in this video, but it's not what I actually fully believe. Westworld could be doing another one of those context things. So this is the thing that I believe is the most likely at this point. Basically, I think the flashbacks where Bernard is trying to escape, like all the killing and everything with Charlotte. I think basically what's going to happen is Bernard is going to live out this entire story, and then he's going to somehow end up back at the beach, and where he says at the very end that he has basically killed all the hosts, that's going to happen during the rest of the season. Now, like, that doesn't seem like that, like, crazy of a theory. It seems pretty obvious, and a lot of people probably thought of it. But I mean, I think because Westworld is so confusing, that the first thing that I said about there being two Bernards isn't impossible. And the second thing, why there's so many like panic attacks and he's like shaking and stuff, maybe there's one Bernard between two bodies. That's, I guess, the third theory, which is why he's not talking very much and why it's all confusing and stuff is because he's trying to be between two bodies. So I don't know if that's a possibility. Probably not. As I said, the middle theory, which I said about him most likely basically doing the whole series, and where we're seeing him right now, where we're seeing Bernard on the beach, that's at the end, kind of. The start of the end, I guess. I think they'll follow that through while they're following the one where he's with Charlotte through. And I guess it's going to probably meet up somewhere where he'll get back to the beach. He's going to leave Charlotte somehow. He's going to cause that flood, and then he's going to be back at the beach somehow. Maybe he washes back up on the beach, or I have no idea. It also connects back to the beginning where he tells Dolores his dream, where he had left her behind and the water was surrounding.
I dreamt I was on an ocean with you and the others on the distant shore.
Are you with us?
No. You'd left me behind.
Water was surrounding about him, but at this point, I still thought that that was Bernard's dream, not
Bernard 2.
So yeah, I'm not really sure, but I'm sure we'll find out by the season's end. This would also tie into his dream that he has at the very start, which I've also just mentioned before. So yeah, he leaves the carnage with Charlotte. I don't know if they find Peter Abernathy or they do something else. He floods the park and then somehow ends up back at the beach. And I'm keen to hear what you guys think. What do you think about pretty much anything? I'm really interested because I've probably missed a lot of stuff. Like, I've talked about a lot of the key events, the key confusing parts, but I mean, there's definitely more that I could have gone into that I probably haven't. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments what you guys think. Anyway, this episode has left us with more questions than answers. It was a highly interesting episode. I loved it. Highly entertaining, highly confusing, and it even added a bit of humor, which you'll find out if you actually watch the episode. If I've missed anything as previously stated, please comment down below. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check my channel for other content that you might like to watch. Also click the notification bell so you're informed whenever I upload a video. I'll hopefully do a video like this for every single episode, so that's almost 100% going to happen. And I'm Neb Neslo. That was season 2, episode 1 of HBO's Westworld. Thanks for all your support, and I'll hopefully be seeing you guys soon.